Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for such a warm welcome throughout this whole entire conference. I'm so overwhelmed with love and support. My heart is going to jump out of my chest and break dance on the floor right now. Good afternoon. My name is Charity Dikson, and I am your 2023 Corps Member of the Year, representing New York, the Village of Haverstraw, and the Rockland Conservation and Service Corps. I'm so honored to be amongst all of you this year at the Core Network's National Conference here in DC. For our speeches this year, they asked us to talk about leadership, and I sat down and I thought about my first memory of being a leader. It was back in third grade. I and a group of girls who were my best friends at the time decided to sign up for the school talent show. Our act was to dance to the song What Makes You Beautiful by One Direction. We practiced every single day during recess. Naturally, I noticed that I was fulfilling the role as leader and choreographer. My best friends entrusted me with the responsibility of creating the best performance ever done to this specific pop song in hopes of the members of this popular boy band noticing us. Our practice session at recess attracted more and more of our classmates, more and more asking, "Can I be in the group?" I felt bad saying no. In fact, I didn't want to. I wanted everyone who wanted to join to feel included, to learn the steps and dance with us at recess during our practices. And at one point, our little group of 5 turned into an ensemble of 20. And we all knew that not all 20 of us would be dancing up on stage that night. But it felt right calling over everyone I knew to join our little group and dance for a while. With the sun beaming down on the blacktop, I vividly remember being in front of all my peers yelling, "Okay, 5, 6, 7, 8." Now, this may seem like a silly childhood memory, but it was my first time feeling like a leader. It didn't matter who came over and asked to join the group. A leader needs collective. And looking back on that memory has taught me that a leader is nothing without community. In my K through 12 days, I found the most sense of leadership and community in an organization I joined called Aspira. It was about 2 months into my freshman year of high school, dismissal time. The double doors awaited me as I rushed to hop into my seat on the bus and get home. All of a sudden, I was pulled into the school cafeteria by one of my older cousins, a senior at the time, and he looked at me and he said, "You're joining this club." And so I did, and I joined the club, but what seemed like a little school club that I and many assume was just about being Latinx turned out to teach me the most valuable lessons about community, empowerment, identity, and leadership. One of those lessons is called the AAA process. Now, quickly for context, Aspira was founded in 1961 by Doctora Antonia Pantoja, and the mission of Aspira, which means to aspire in Spanish, was to provide Latinx youth with a foundation and support system to succeed. And although it wasn't Doctora Antonia Pantoja that taught me the AAA process herself, it was one of my dearest mentors, Sydney Valerio, that taught me such a valuable 3-step process that I've taken with me and used in almost all of my leadership endeavors. The AAA process involves 3 concepts: awareness, analysis, and action. The awareness is asking, what do I know? The analysis, what do I need to know? And the action, making it happen. Action is the process of putting the knowledge and skills one has acquired to use for the benefit of oneself, one's family, and one's community. Through involvement in community service projects developed by programs like the Corps, one finds themselves with what feels like the right steps to tackle any issue or project. And this past summer, as I was participating in the Corps, on my day at my site, which was with Lamont Doherty Earth Observatory's Next Generation of Hudson River Educators program, we had some free time with the students, and I took the opportunity to talk to them about this process. Their reaction will always stick with me because it was filled with widened eyes, note-taking, and positive feedback. I remember one of them telling me how much of a valuable lesson it was to them. Many of them came to me and said that they will apply this to the next time they're confronted with an issue or a project they want to make possible. What I want them to know is that they impacted me not only as a leader, not only as a mentor, but as a young woman just trying to make her way in the world. I went into the Corps with no environmental studies background. I was an aspiring writer and journalist and still am. But I knew that I wanted to spend my summer giving back. creating meaningful connections, and becoming empowered and learning how to empower those around me. Although it seems unrelated, the course strengthened my abilities as a writer and as a journalist. I was able to learn valuable skills such as public speaking, mapping out projects, and most of all, tuning into the needs of other people and to the land that I was serving. The Corps helped project my journalism career in such amazing ways. I became more of a microscopic journalist, microscopic writer, microscopic reporter. I even got to get featured in the New York Department of Environmental Conservation's Conservationist magazine and wrote a feature article for them this past summer. There was always a huge part in me that valued giving back and serving my community, and the Corps helped me get back in touch with that and more. I was able to partake in service projects I never dreamed of doing. I got to test my abilities as a leader, as a mentor, and as a peer. What I appreciated about the Corps is that it challenged me. I was put in situations that made me learn valuable social and leadership skills. Overcoming the physical, mental, and social obstacles, learning those valuable lessons helped form myself into the empowered young woman I always dreamed of becoming. The 2 years I spent with the Corps helped to overcome my fears and uplift my strengths. With the support I got from my time in the Corps, I was able to embrace the qualities I always felt that were inside of me. I learned to be confident and to be a leader for the members of my community because I believe that there is a leader inside of all of us. One issue that I feel as though my generation can address through programs like the Corps is that of environmental justice and climate change. Being part of Rockland Conservation and Service Corps, I learned so much about environmental issues that were happening around me on the local level. We traveled to different towns all over Rockland County and witnessed some effects of climate change and environmental injustice. As we entered into these communities, the residents found it influential and empowering to see youth like me remediating these problems. And it was through witnessing our service that community members and residents started to form a connection and become aware of their natural environment. One example in particular, my site placement for the time I spent with the Corps, which was with Lamont Doherty Earth Observatory. I was mentoring the next generation of Hudson River educators, and the program was based in a riverfront town of Haverstraw, which has been my hometown all my life. Our site placement was at Emmeline Park, which was right in my backyard. I literally walked to work every day. It was the best. The town consists of a dense population of Dominican people, I being one of them. I've lived in this town all of my life and have witnessed people's hesitations when going near or interacting with the Hudson River. Throughout the weeks of the program, residents would come up to us curious to know what we were doing. Slowly, we attracted more residents from the village of Haverstraw, and we saw more and more families gathered near the river. BIPOC and marginalized communities deserve to understand their natural resources. And it is through that I believe we can address an issue, which is humans' misconnection with the natural world. We protect what we understand. And as the residents of the village of Haverstraw learn to understand the river for its many important functions, the people now feel empowered to protect it. There is a leader in every individual, in me, in the Dominican people in my hometown, and in everyone in this room today. I'd like to wrap up by thanking a few people who have helped me on my journey and who have brought me here to this point. Kathy Gallion, who is not only my mentor, but my friend. Kim Burgos and everyone at the Rockland County Youth Bureau who work on making sure that programs like the Corps stay in place. To my mother, who is the strongest woman I know and the strongest woman you'll ever know, who is in the audience right now. Without you, I wouldn't be the woman I am today. To both of my parents and to my brothers watching at home. And last but certainly not least, everyone at the Corps Network, as well as everyone whose hands and hearts helped put this conference together this week. I'm honored and eternally grateful. Thank you.